Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the world of AI dentistry.
It's certainly a hot topic, and for good reason.
It really is. AI seems to be everywhere these days, but AI in dentistry, that's something I'm really curious about, especially with the amount of research you've been sharing. It seems like this field has just exploded in the last few years.
You're right, it has. Especially since around 2018, there's been a huge surge in research on AI in dentistry.
So, what's driving this surge? Why is AI suddenly such a big deal in dentistry?
Well, a lot of it comes down to the incredible advancements in deep learning.
Deep learning. Okay. So, how does that tie into like fillings and braces?
Well, think about all the images dentists work with x-rays, scans, pictures. Deep learning is all about analyzing images, and it can do it with incredible accuracy.
Okay, so it's like giving dentists a superpowered magnifying glass.
Exactly. It can see things in those images that humans might miss, and that's a game changer for diagnosis and treatment planning.
That makes sense. But deep learning's been around for a while, hasn't it? Why the sudden boom in dentistry?
You're right, deep learning's not brand new. But there was this pivotal study in 2017 by Miki et al. They used deep learning to classify teeth in dental CT scans. And it really was a breakthrough moment.
So that was like the turning point. What made that study so important?
Well, for one, it proved that AI could handle the complexities of 3D dental data. But more importantly, it opened the door for all sorts of new research showing just how powerful this technology could be in dentistry.
Wow, so that one study really sparked a revolution. And what's interesting is that this isn't just happening in a few places. Your research shows that over 90 countries are exploring AI dentistry.
Absolutely, it's a global phenomenon.
It's amazing, right? It really highlights how AI is touching every corner of the world. And speaking of corners of the world, I noticed that a lot of the leading research institutions are in countries like China, the US, South Korea, Germany.
You're right, those countries are definitely at the forefront.
And it made me wonder, is it just a coincidence that these countries are also economic powerhouses? Does the level of AI research simply follow the money?
Well, funding certainly plays a role, no doubt about that. But it's not the whole story.
So there's more to it than just dollars and cents.
Exactly. Take, for instance, Charité Universitätsmedizin Berlin in Germany. They're publishing a ton of research and are home to some of the top researchers in the field, like Falk Schwendeke and Joachim Kreuz.
Okay, so those researchers are real trailblazers in this field. Their work is making a big impact.
Absolutely. And that's another factor to consider. The passion, expertise, and dedication of these researchers are essential to pushing the boundaries of what's possible with AI in dentistry.
It's a combination of factors then, the resources, the brilliant minds, and maybe even something about the specific needs and priorities of different regions. Like, I noticed that many leading institutions are in Asia.
Right, there's a lot of exciting work happening in Asia.
Any thoughts on why that might be? Is it just because of the technological advancements in that part of the world?
It's likely a combination of factors. For one, governments in Asia are often very supportive of technological innovation.
So there's a real push for progress.
Exactly. Also, densely populated areas often mean larger data sets, which are incredibly valuable for training AI algorithms. Plus, there's the practical aspect. AI could help alleviate the workload of dentists, which is a major need in regions with large populations.
That's a great point. It's not just about the technology itself, it's about how that technology can address real-world challenges and improve people's lives. Which leads us to the big question. What does all this mean for us, the patients? What can AI actually do for our teeth right now?
That's what we're here to uncover. And your research highlights some really incredible applications.
So let's dive into those applications. What are some of the areas where AI is already making a difference in dentistry?
Well, disease diagnosis is a big one. AI is proving incredibly good at detecting problems early on, often before they're even visible to the human eye.
Okay, so no more surprise cavities. That's a win in my book. Yeah.
Exactly. And then there's orthodontics, where AI is being used to plan braces more effectively, potentially shortening treatment times.
That's amazing. It sounds like AI is already transforming how we approach dental care.
Yeah.
But I'm curious about the how. How is AI actually being used in these areas?
Let's break it down. Imagine you're going in for your regular dental checkup. Instead of just relying on a visual exam and x-rays, your dentist could use an AI-powered tool. This tool can analyze your x-rays and spot those tiny cavities years before a human could even see them.
Wow, that's incredible. Early detection like that can make a huge difference in preventing more serious problems down the road.
Absolutely. And when it comes to orthodontics, think about going to the orthodontist, and instead of relying on traditional methods, they use AI to help plan your braces. This could lead to a more comfortable and efficient treatment.
Okay, that definitely sounds more appealing than the traditional braces experience. I think I'm starting to see why everyone is so excited about AI in dentistry. But on a more technical level, how does it actually work? I keep hearing about these deep learning models.
Yeah.
What are they exactly?
You're right. Those deep learning models are essential. Essentially, they're complex algorithms that have been trained on massive amounts of data, like dental images. This training allows them to learn the subtle differences between healthy and unhealthy teeth.
So they're like dental detectives, spotting clues in the x-rays that even trained dentists might miss.
That's a great way to put it. And some of the most common deep learning models we see in dentistry are things like AlexNet, VGG. Those are used a lot.
And what makes these particular models so effective?
They're powerful because they've been trained on these massive data sets, and that lets them pick up on these subtle patterns, these anomalies that might not be visible to the human eye. They can identify those tiny details that could indicate a problem.
That's amazing. But it also makes me wonder, if these AI models are so complex, how can we be sure that they're actually making the right calls? How do we know we can trust their diagnoses?
You've hit on a really crucial point, and it's something researchers are grappling with right now. Some deep learning models can be a bit of a black box.
The black box. What does that mean?
It means that while we know they work incredibly well, it's not always clear why they make a specific diagnosis. They can be really good at identifying problems, but they don't always show their work, so to speak.
Ah, so it's like they have all the answers, but they're not very good at explaining how they got them.
Exactly. And that's a challenge because in healthcare, especially, you want to understand the reasoning behind a diagnosis. You want to know why a particular treatment is being recommended.
Absolutely. So how do we address this black box problem? Is there a way to make these AI models more transparent?
That's a key area of research right now. There's this big push for explainable AI, which essentially means developing models that can not only make accurate diagnoses, but also provide clear explanations for how they reach those conclusions.
So instead of just saying you have a cavity, the AI would also explain what features or patterns it detected that led to that diagnosis.
Exactly. That kind of transparency is essential for building trust in these technologies, both for dentists and for patients.
Transparency and trust, those are definitely crucial, especially in a field like healthcare. Now, so far we've been talking a lot about 2D images, like X-rays, but I've seen some mentions of 3D analysis in your research as well. How does that fit into all of this?
That's where things get really futuristic. We're moving beyond flat images into the realm of 3D morphology segmentation.
Okay, I have to admit, that sounds a little intimidating. Could you break that down for me? What exactly does that mean in the context of dentistry?
Essentially, it's about teaching AI to see and understand the shape and structure of your teeth and jaw in 3 dimensions. Imagine getting a 3D scan of your entire mouth. The AI can then analyze that scan down to the tiniest detail, identifying issues that might not be visible in traditional 2D images.
So it's like giving the AI a much more complete picture of what's going on in my mouth.
Exactly, and that has huge implications, especially for complex procedures.
So we're talking about AI potentially being used to plan surgeries and other complicated treatments.
Precisely. 3D morphology segmentation could allow for incredibly precise and personalized treatment plans based on those detailed 3D scans. And it's not just about analysis either. We're starting to see AI playing a role in actually generating content, too.
Hold on, AI is making stuff now. What kind of stuff are we talking about?
How about AI-designed dental crowns?
Whoa! Now that's what I call cutting edge. Okay, I need to hear more about this. How does AI even design a dental crown?
A lot of it comes down to a technology called GANs, or generative adversarial networks. Imagine two AIs in a constant back and forth.
Okay, like they're battling it out.
In a way, yes. One AI is trying to create realistic content, like a dental crown. The other AI acts as a judge, evaluating the quality and accuracy of that content. And through this process, this constant duel, they push each other to produce incredibly realistic and accurate models.
That's amazing. So AI can help diagnose problems, plan treatments, and even design the actual dental prosthetics. It sounds like the possibilities are pretty much endless.
The potential is definitely there.
But before we get too carried away with all the amazing things AI can do, I think it's important to talk about the ethical considerations. With any new technology, there are always potential downsides. What are some of the challenges we need to be mindful of as AI becomes more prevalent in dentistry?
You bring up an incredibly important point. Just because we can do something doesn't always mean we should, or at least not without careful consideration. As AI takes on a larger role in dentistry, we need to proceed thoughtfully. We need to make sure these powerful tools are used responsibly and ethically.
That's a perfect point to transition to our next segment. We'll take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll delve deeper into those ethical implications. We'll also explore how AI might impact the future of dentistry as a whole, from accessibility and affordability to the patient experience. So stay tuned. We're back and ready to delve deeper into AI's potential to reshape dentistry. But before we get into those ethical questions, we were actually talking about some of the amazing applications that your research uncovered. And I wanted to circle back to the AI-designed dental crowns. It just sounds, I don't know, so futuristic to me.
It is remarkable. And there's actually a study from 2023 by Ding et al. That really highlights this. They used a specific type of GAN, something called the 3DDC GAN, to design these incredibly detailed dental crowns. And what's fascinating is that the AI design crowns, they were comparable to those made with, traditional software, both in how they looked and how well they functioned.
That's incredible. So we're talking about AI that can design things that are just as good as what we can do with like specialized software.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder what else AI could create in the dental field. But before we go down that road, you mentioned earlier a study about periodontal disease and predicting that. Can you remind me what that was about?
Absolutely. Yeah, that was a study from 2022 by Kearney and a few other researchers. And what they did was they were able to significantly increase how accurately we can predict periodontal disease just from looking at x-rays. And they did that using JANs. So this kind of early detection could really change the game when it comes to preventing, something as serious as tooth loss.
Absolutely. It sounds like we're on the verge of a real revolution in dentistry, and AI is right at the center of it. We've got early detection, personalized treatments, even AI designing dental prosthetics. I mean, it really seems like AI has the potential to completely transform, I don't know, almost every aspect of dentistry.
I completely agree. But, amidst all this excitement about how technology is changing things, it's important to remember the human element. I mean, we can't forget about the dentists themselves in all of this.
That's a really good point. What do the experts say about how AI will impact the role of dentists? Is this about replacing them, or is it more about, giving them new tools and enhancing their skills?
Yeah, that's a question that researchers like Schwendeck and Croix have actually been really interested in. And their perspective, and I tend to agree with them, is that AI shouldn't be seen as a replacement for dentists. It's more about using AI as this powerful tool that can actually make them even better at what they do.
So it's more about collaboration between AI and dentists
Yeah.
rather than one replacing the other.
Exactly. It's about leveraging the strengths of both. Think of it this way. AI can handle those more, tedious and time-consuming tasks. Things like, analyzing those images, spotting those patterns, flagging potential issues. And that then frees up the dentist to really focus on what they do best, which is, interpreting those findings, figuring out the best treatment plan for each individual patient, and honestly just building that strong relationship with their patients.
It's reassuring to hear that AI could actually make the patient experience even more human,
Mhm.
by giving dentists more time and energy to really focus on their patients. But realistically, how far away are we from all of this? I mean, are we going to start seeing AI in every dental office in the next couple of years? Or is this something that's further down the line?
It's hard to say for sure, right? AI is changing so rapidly. But, integrating it into those existing dental practices, it takes time. There's regulations. And of course, we have to make absolutely sure that these technologies are safe, effective, and accessible to everyone. But I am optimistic. I mean, we're already seeing some dental offices start to use AI-powered tools. It's really just a matter of time, I think, before it's much more common.
It's exciting to think about. So while we might not have robot dentists just yet, the future of the industry is definitely looking pretty high tech. But so far, we've mostly been focusing on how AI is used in, the clinical side of dentistry. I'm curious about its impact on a larger scale. Do you think AI has the potential to make dental care more accessible, particularly for people who maybe don't have easy access to dentists right now, or those in underserved communities? And what about AI's ability to personalize dental care even further than we've already talked about?
I think those are really important questions, and they highlight just how much potential AI has. It's not just about changing how we care for our teeth, but also who has access to that care.
That's a perfect segue into our final segment where we're going to unpack some of those broader implications of AI in dentistry. So we'll be right back after this. And we're back for the final part of our deep dive into AI and the future of dentistry. Before the break, we were starting to talk about AI's potential to really broaden access to dental care. So how could that actually work? How could AI make dental care more accessible, especially for, those underserved communities we were talking about?
Well, imagine for a moment AI-powered diagnostic tools being used in those communities, places where it might be difficult to actually get to a dentist.
So instead of having to travel, sometimes really long distances just for a checkup, people could get like a basic screening using AI.
Exactly. These AI tools could potentially catch those early signs of an issue and then, connect people with dentists if they need more serious care. I mean, that could be really transformative for people who, for whatever reason, struggle to access traditional dental care.
Absolutely. It could remove so many barriers. And this also ties into what you were saying earlier about AI personalizing dental care. We talked about those AI designed crowns, but what else could be personalized? What's the potential there?
I mean, imagine you go to the dentist and the AI can analyze your entire dental history,
Mhm.
even look at genetic predispositions, your lifestyle choices, all sorts of things to create a truly personalized prevention plan.
Oh, wow. So instead of just getting the same old advice about brushing and flossing, my AI dentist could give me recommendations that are tailored to me, to my specific needs and risks.
Exactly. It's like having a personal dental coach. And it really could change our entire approach to dental care. Instead of just reacting to problems, we could actually start preventing them in the first place.
I love that. It's all about being proactive. But, we've been focusing on the positive potential here. And I do think it's important to acknowledge that no technology is perfect. Every advancement comes with its own set of challenges. So as AI becomes more integrated into healthcare, especially in dentistry, what are some of those challenges we need to be mindful of?
That's such an important point. And I think one of the biggest challenges, honestly, is making sure that these AI advancements are accessible to everyone, that they don't just benefit a select few.
Yeah.
Equitable access to AI-driven dentistry, that's something we need to be very intentional about.
It's about making sure this technology doesn't accidentally create a wider gap,
Yeah.
instead of bridging the one that already exists in healthcare.
Precisely. And we need to have these conversations. We need to be thoughtful and proactive as AI keeps evolving to ensure that this incredible technology is used ethically and responsibly to improve everyone's oral health.
That's a great point to end on. It's been fascinating to explore this world of AI dentistry with you, from early detection and those personalized treatments to the potential for making dental care more accessible. I mean, it really seems like AI could revolutionize the field as we know it. Thanks to everyone for joining us on this incredible journey into the future of dentistry. Until next time.